So in a Hotwire application, the Turbo Drive page cache is used to render a previous page when you use the browser's back button. This allows instantaneous rendering to take place. So for example, if we reload this page, and we can see that it was rendered at 35 minutes and 18 seconds. If I now go to About, and then I hit the back button, you'll see that we are still at 35 minutes and 18 seconds. And that's because this page wasn't actually re-rendered from live content. It was taken directly out of the cache. And in fact, if we go to the About page and we look at our network and then we clear our network settings here and we hit the back button, what you'll see is that there is no network activity for the back button. It's being completely rendered by Hotwire's Turbo Drive page cache. Now, I wasn't quite sure when pages got put into the cache, meaning when a page loads, so if I hit the refresh, is this the state of the page that goes into the cache, or does the cache take all of the runtime changes as well? So to test this, I have this change runtime styles button, and what that's going to do is, let's look at the source here, is I can give it a selector. In this case, I'm going to select P tags, and I can give it styles to add to the DOM at runtime. And here I'm going to add a dashed border and a background color of yellow. So now if we hit this, you'll see that all of the paragraph tags have now been updated with these particular styles. So now the question is, when I go to the About page and then I hit the back button, what shows up? So let's go ahead and hit the back button. What you can see is that all of our runtime modifications to the DOM, or the document object model, are persisted to the cache. So the cache is populated, I believe can be described as on the unload of the previous page just before the navigation takes place. So in fact, we can go ahead and change some of this other stuff. So let's say that this is font size 50 pixels and font weight 800. So now let's go to the About page. Let's go back again, and you can see not only were the previous changes maintained, but this one that I added is also maintained, again because we were just about to unload content. Now, this is being pulled out of the cache for the back button, but we can also see that if we go to the About page and then go to the Home as part of an application visit, meaning I'm clicking on a link in order to change the state of the application, we get a flash there of the previously cached page. So the page cache doesn't just work for the back button, but it also works to present a preview of previously visited pages. And there's all kinds of opt-in and opt-out stuff that you can do with that, but that goes beyond the scope of this post. Now, one other thing I wanted to do was look at the way that the controller for this button is being attached. So if we jump into the code, and let's just look at the index page here. And here's our button. And again, this is a stimulus controller. It's the magic controller. It has an action called change DOM. And when we click it, and here you're noticing that I am omitting the click because that is the default event for this type of element. I'm going to look for elements that are P tags, and I'm going to append these styles. But if we look at the code for this controller, what we can see is it has connect and disconnect lifecycle methods that just log the action that's taking place. The controller is connected, the controller is disconnected. And then of course we have our change DOM, which you can see is just a simple query selector all, and then it assigns the styles from the data attributes to the styles of the selected nodes. But we're past this. What I want to look at is this connect and disconnect. So if we jump back here, and if we look at the console, you can see that we have our connection, our disconnection things. But now let's go ahead and change these runtime styles. And now we're going to go to About, and you can see that the magic controller is disconnected. But now let's clear this and let's hit the back button. So when we hit the back button, what we can see is that even though the previous state of the DOM is being pulled right out of the page cache and rendered instantaneously, our stimulus controllers are still being connected to all of the DOM elements present in the page. So that's pretty cool because you can still get a lot of flexibility there in terms of what you want your controllers to do if they want to implement some sort of a runtime state change or fetch data or what have you. So the DOM isn't being rendered freshly, but the stimulus controllers are all being reattached as if the page was being loaded for the first time. So again, very cool, very cool. It is kind of exciting to see how easy it is to have the previous state of the page restored. If you're coming from a SPA or a single page application type of background where you have all kinds of nested components in a page, going backwards in your history and then restoring the previous state of a SPA application, that's actually shockingly challenging. So seeing this behavior being essentially the out-of-the-box behavior for a Hotwire Turbo Drive application, that's pretty exciting. So I don't know, I'm really enjoying this this throwback to the older school multi-page applications, but enhancing it with this interesting behavior. So more to come on this, I'm sure.